All right, who's first?
What's your favorite thing about training camp and your least favorite thing?
Least favorite thing would be the hotel. Favorite thing is, I would say, getting back into like the season. Like it's the start of a new season. You get to be around guys again, and it's from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. is with the guys, and just kind of that camaraderie building. And obviously, playing football is a lot of fun too. So that's kind of the fun and not so fun part is the hotel, being away from my dogs and wife.
Is the actual hotel kind of run down too?
Oh, no, the Santa Clara Marriott is a great hotel, okay? No, it hasn't changed since I've been there, but I got a great room with a patio, and it's great, so I'm not complaining about it.
Colton, the first year said that he felt like Pooney and Colby had, I think he said, awesome off seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you watch these guys pretty closely. What do you think of their development?
Yeah, I mean, he's right. You know, obviously Connor, you know, he's training in Iowa. I don't get to see him as much, but just from, you know, seeing what he looks like now, looks like a completely different player than when, you know, his rookie year when, you know, guys come in kind of big-eyed and trying to figure it out. You know, he understands it a little more. He's playing a little faster. You see he's put on a little weight too, so he looks good. And obviously Dom, love playing next to him. And just talked to him yesterday about, you know, he understands a lot more. And every year you're in this system, you pick up little nuances, whether it's, you know, how you can use the play that's called to your advantage and kind of how, you know, Kyle schemes it and Fur coaches it. He's picked up on that and just the level of confidence he's at and where he's at in his development. It's cool to see, and, you know, every guy's come in ready to go. That's what camp's about. And, you know, obviously the first 2 weeks, and now we got pads going on. So, you know, now's when the real thing starts.
You're about picking up nuances. Trent earlier this week said it's beneficial to be able to go up against a new standard Raheem Morris is implementing for the defense. What are some of those benefits? Obviously, it's not new, like you've never seen that type of defense before, but having to practice up against it, how is that beneficial?
It's beneficial in the way that that's all we see in the regular season. So now that we get to go against it starting in August instead of game planning it for the first week in September, it makes it a lot easier for us. Obviously, it makes it fresher in our minds. We're seeing it a lot more. It's not, you know, a typical 4-down jetting front. And so we're getting a lot of looks with 5-down, spinners with D linemen off the ball. So it just kind of puts us ahead of the game and what we're going to see, you know, in the season more than just a 4-down base front. So a lot more schematically different for us, and it helps us in the long run.
Being like, you know, a vet or not new to the game, not new to the NFL, would you say it makes you guys like more comfortable?
Of course. I mean, anytime you can go against a defense that you don't see until September before then is great for us instead of trying to relearn a new defense in September. So it's great that we get to go against it now and we get to see all kinds of different looks. It just helps us, you know, prepare earlier.
We're about 6 weeks away from starting the season down in Australia. So at what point do you start thinking about a Myles Garrett or getting your body clock matched up, since it's 5:45 in the morning right now there?
What was it, 10:55 or 10:50 kickoff down there, a.m.? When it comes to those guys, I mean, Myles obviously out in the division now. Who knows who else they may add or may not. Our division's good. It is what it is. That's what you want. Obviously, defending Super Bowl champs are in our division, so there's no game where we're going to see a bad player. But that kind of clock starts, you know, usually 2 weeks out. Like right now, we're worried about installing runs, installing passes, going against our defense, kind of scheming them, but really just getting a feel for our offense and how we're going to gel as a group. And then obviously 2 weeks out is kind of when, you know, things are settled and we're ready to rock, and that's when we're game planning them. But yeah, it'll be interesting with a 10:50 clock, but we're down under, so it'll be cool.
You ready to see Nick like across from you in practice again? It's been a while.
It's been a little bit. About time he gets out there. But no, anytime you can go against Nick, like you said, Cam, it speeds it up. So the more looks we can get against a guy like him, it only helps us in the long run going against that kind of speed, power. He's one of the best edge rushers in the game. So the faster he can get out there, the better for us.
With a couple of injuries, it seems like there's some opportunities for guys like Kalen Black, DeJohn's dribbling right now. What would have been kind of your early impressions, particularly of those two guys and the way they've embraced the opportunities that are given?
Fast and running hard, which is nice to see. When you get young guys that come in and can just hit the hole and hit it fast, and there's no question on second guessing or chopping their feet in the hole, it makes our job a lot easier. And obviously in the passing game too, I think a couple of those guys had some nice catches out in the flats today as well. So when you get young guys who are confident, they're not questioning themselves and just hitting it, obviously you can correct that, but hesitation, you can't correct it. Guys got to figure it out, but when they're coming in right now running as hard as they are, they got great leadership in that room with Bobby T and C-Mac, so it's nice to see it early on.
Is that unusual for a rookie, particularly like the outside zone stuff, to be as decisive as you're seeing?
It is. I mean, colleges aren't really running it. So there are a few, but when you get guys who can come in and run it like they are, it's nice to see, and it makes our jobs a lot easier.
When you add somebody like Mike Evans and all the roster that you guys already have, because at the end of the season last year, it seemed like there's times that you were holding on the forward, Brock was finding the spaces, but he couldn't find someone to throw to add a piece like that. And then seeing the young guys being able to do these things, does it make your life easier?
Sure does. When you can get guys open and not hold on the ball for 3 to 4 seconds, you get it out quick. It's a lot harder on DNs. It's a lot harder on defenses. It makes our job easier. And then obviously run the ball helps too. When you can run the ball, have possession, and then you get a deep threat like Mike, it changes the scope of games. So when you have that threat and it kind of keeps the defense from stacking a box. It helps us in the run, helps in the pass. So, those weapons are essential to us being good on offense and then playing well together.
Enrique has a reputation for having a good personality, open personality.
Yeah.
Have you seen that already? And just what are your early assessments of him?
Yeah, there's a good group of rookies. They're working on their jokes right now, but you can see them obviously working before practice with Fur in Rome. Just willingness to work, I think, is one of the biggest things that these guys have. They've got a lot of talent. They're very open about it, and they're learning. So obviously it's their first 3 practices of their first camp, but you can see the talent in them and what those guys possess. And Enrique especially, he's got great feet and hands. He's going to have to learn a little bit of our scheme and try and fit into that. And we're, learning footballs is going to be the big thing for him, but the talent he has is he's a good player. So we'll see once the pads come on and one-on-ones and how that works. But they're off to a good start.
What jokes are they working on?
Huh?
What jokes are they working on?
I don't tell jokes anymore. I'm past that point.
Well, you're one of the leaders on this team, and obviously the Shanahan accident impacts things. But do you think it's going to impact your football team? It seems like you got a lot of coaches, a lot of veterans here. What is the impact of that accident on this team?
It sucks. No one wants to be in a car accident. Obviously, Kyle wants to be out there coaching us and leading meetings, and that's kind of what we look forward to in the morning is, our protect the team stuff and just his, how he views the game and connects offense and defense. Not having him in there is tough, but obviously, like you said, we've got a group of guys who multiple Pro Bowls, coaches who have been here together for a while, players who have been here together for a while, and young guys who have bought in. So obviously we miss him, but on the field it's the same. Business as usual. He's watching it, coaching it, and then it's passed down through his guys. So it sucks he's not out there, but I know he's going to come back as fast as possible, but we're not skipping a beat.
Christian's notorious for his workouts. Does he look as explosive as ever?
Who, Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Christian McCaffrey. It looks great.
Connor Colby was kind of thrown into the fire in his first season, and he had some challenges as a rookie. Is he someone that reached out to you about the beginning of your career? Did you guys talk at all?
Yeah, it's hard to get Connor to say a few words, but the words we have had, he's asked about what's it like, how do you slow the game down, in your experience, how do you flush plays. And that's the one thing is once a bad play happens, how fast can you flush it and move on to the next? And that's what we're seeing, this year coming in, that just another year added to a player can help, and it's not just, what's going on. So the slower you can make the game, obviously it's a fast one, but the slower you can make it, it's better for a player. So for him to come in and realize that at where he's at and where he wants to be, it just shows his experience and kind of where he's at right now. So it's good to see him asking questions and then wanting to get better.
No, it's
Last
very,
one.
very early, and Stribling is a rookie. But have you noticed in the spring or early on in training camp without pads his ability to help the tackles out with the way he can block in the running game?
We got a group of receivers who are blocking right now. And that's the one thing that we coach most is our receivers in blocking. That's what Kyle demands. It's what our offense demands. We can do our best up front. Our tight ends are fullbacks, but if we don't have receivers who are going to get in there and get muddy and dirty, and you're seeing young guys who are buying in, and that's the biggest thing that we've always had and needed and wanted is young guys who buy in. We saw it with last year's class, and they played well, and then we're going to need the same thing. So for a guy like Stribling to come in and already be doing that, you're seeing Jake Cowing doing it, Malik Turner doing it. So guys who are doing this already in camp, we'll see. In 2 days, Pat's come on. We'll see if it keeps going, but I got a lot of confidence in those guys that it will.